Hey, me Matt here. This is Killer Kyle, and welcome to Wheels of Fury. And I'm just trying to test out the camera before I see if it runs out or not. So hopefully it holds on for a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the intro anyways to what we're going to talk about eventually. So I talked about my own personal opinions about the Survivor Series and War Games. What did you think?
You know, Survivor Series wasn't too bad. I mean, the way it finished was interesting. Essentially, you had, Shane with Bobby Roode, Nakamura, John Cena, Randy Orton, and then you got Triple H with Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle. And what it all boiled down to was you had Triple H and Braun Strowman and Shane all by himself. And it essentially looked like Triple H and Shane were gonna be a cohesive unit and cohesion and take out Braun Strowman. Kind of like, no matter what goes on between back and forth, who's the better leader of the better brand and whatever, nothing can come between family. But it ended up being that I guess Triple H was ultimately the one that wanted to, I guess you could say, put the final nail on the coffin and be the one to pin Shane. And it made you think, like, maybe even though there's like battle for brand supremacy, it's still family as a whole. You got the two brother-in-laws coming together for the common bond, but it was just Triple H doing his usual mind games, I guess you could say, and tricking everybody into thinking he's going to align himself with Shane, but in actuality, he was wanting to eliminate Shane himself, and then have Braun basically throttle hold Triple H and be like, if you ever do that to me again, I'm gonna rip your throat out or whatever. And leading up to that match, everything before that 5-on-5 match was good. You had the women's match that was good. The way everybody was eliminated was interesting, but I mean, to ultimately have Asuka be the one to get the win is like, that's not a surprise. I figured it would either be Asuka or Nia Jax to either kind of like wipe out everybody on SmackDown, or at least maybe be the one to get the win. And it was Asuka, which was good. Baron Corbin and Miz was really good. Having Maurice ringside made it all that more interesting. I didn't really think they would have her involved in interaction with that rivalry, but I mean, or with the match, but with Baron saying things he said on social media about Miz and then Maurice made sense. Then you had the tag team match, which was fairly good. I mean, the Usos are really good tag team, super good. They've gone away from like the high-flying stuff and gone more to like the ground-based, physical, aggressive stuff, which really melded well with Cesaro and Sheamus, and their kind of rough, rugged, aggressive style. And so the match went fairly well. And to have the Usos come up with a win is like, okay, I like it. It was good. The New Day and the Shield, that was an amazing match. Just the fact of like having 2 3-man teams battle each other to see who's the better 3-man team, if you will, really made it interesting. It was ultimately who was going to get the big pinfall for the win and be like, hey, I'm the one that beat you, I pinned you, we're better, and all of that stuff. But it was like Matt and I both said on our prediction video, New Day didn't stand much of a chance, even though the New Day put up a hell of a fight. For them to get a win would have taken, well, let's just say the New Day pushed the Shield to the limit, but ultimately the Shield proved why they are the ultimate 3-man team. And then you go to TakeOver War Games, Andrade winning the title from McIntyre, which certainly was interesting. But I mean, I saw an interview with McIntyre after the show had ended, basically, and he was in the training room and he had a bag of ice kind of wrapped around his bicep, and he said he could feel something pull in his elbow bicep area. He didn't know exactly what it was, but he just felt something pull and he knew it wasn't good. Could have been just by a muscle pull or tear from the arm, but it'll be interesting to see where Andrade, how long he will have the title and what kind of a title reign he will have. Also, having Ember Moon win the Women's Championship, big congrats to her, well deserved. Her and Asuka had 2 phenomenal matches, and just, she was this close to winning the championship, just couldn't quite get it done. For her to finally get the nod, if you will, by WWE, and especially, Triple H and NXT and whatever, is really good for them to do that for her. I mean, the match itself was really good. The finish of the match, I thought was really cool. Kind of have the double eclipse, so to speak. And then, at the start of the show, have Lars Sullivan and Cassius Ohno.
That was a hell of a fight.
That was a brawl. That is like we said in our prediction video. It's just 2 big dudes beating up each other, and who would have the big win, and it ended up being Sullivan, which was a surprise, but it's also like, okay, they're really showing like how dominant this dude really is. And him being, I don't know, 6'3", 6'4", roughly, 295, 300-pound man, built like
a big shithouse.
Yeah. And just have him essentially dominate Ohno. Really showed like, okay, they're putting this guy over really, really well. Just being the big, strong, rough, rugged brute. And I mean, for as good of a wrestler as Cassius Ohno is, him being the more experienced of the two, him being the more technical wrestler, and also a strong striker, and have Ono lose to Sullivan is like, okay, it was interesting. And then, of course, the big match of the night was the War Games match itself. And if you remember or you know of War Games match itself over the years, this one was, the premise was still the same. It was just the styling was different. You still had the two rings, you know, the big cage over the two rings, and then you had guys start for 5 minutes, and then at 2-minute intervals, you know, the rest of the guys would come in. But they had the other two members of the teams in shark cages, and it's like, okay, that's different from the original way of doing it, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was unconventional from the original way of doing the War Games match, but I mean, it's 2017, it's WWE. Update it, you know?
Yeah, I was a little bit irritated at first, but then I thought, well, they have to update it somehow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's understandable in a certain way, I guess.
But also to have limit expires, you have both members of the remaining 3 teams come in instead of like, okay, you have Kyle O'Reilly come in from the Undisputed Era, and then maybe Akam from Authors of Pain, and then have, Killian Dane come in from Sanity, and then alternate between the last 3 was certainly interesting, but I mean, it kind of made it all that more bigger anticipation, I guess, as to like, okay, who's gonna be involved in the match next, and who's gonna have the advantage, and who's gonna be like, okay, when are my partners coming in to save my butt from a big chicken? And then ultimately to have Sanity be the last 2 team members to enter the match, and have them, you know, bring in tables and trash can and candlesticks and chain and all this other stuff, was like, okay, this is really WWE making War Games their own by letting the guys, you know, implement weapons, and the way they went about it was genius. I mean, you had Alexander Wolf, German suplex, it was either Akam or Razar, through both the tables, but Wolf ended up more worse for wear out of the 2 of them, because he got section of the table, I guess, hit him in the head, and he started bleeding, and then he got the superplex off the top of the cage onto everybody. Was pretty cool. And one thing I found really interesting, but I thought about it and I kind of made sense of it. Oh, there's another thing. Had Alexander Wolf initially enter the cage and pull out like a billy club nightstick and start hitting everybody, and then he got Killian Dean on the outside bringing in all these weapons, and then he takes a small chain and he's padlocking the chain to the door shut, and then he puts the key in his mouth. I was like, oh, he swallowed the key, and it's like, well,
That's kind of bizarre.
maybe not necessarily have him swallow the key, but at least like have him put it in his mouth, and then like put it probably between his cheeks and his gum, or under his tongue.
And before we're gonna talk more about NXT in a bit, let's talk about what happened on Raw. It was quite an interesting week in
Yeah.
WWE. You know, you see a new champion crown, you see a lot of new faces, kind of. But let's start off with Stephanie McMahon came out. She called out Triple H for winning the Survivor Series. So he came out and said his thing. Then Kurt Angle came out and basically saying, this isn't the manager talking, this is the Olympic gold medalist. Whatever.
Yeah. If you ever cross me again, I'll kick your ass. Basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And then their standoff. What I find interesting is how short Kurt Angle is compared to Triple H. You know, not by much.
Well, I think Kurt's only like 6 foot, maybe 6'1".
It's something like that, yeah.
You know, Triple H is like 6'5", 6'4", 6'5".
It's kind of funny. In any case, so then Braun Strowman comes out and then he gets in Triple H's face, and in classic heel form, Triple H decides to back off, and we may see all two things can either happen and probably will happen. WrestleMania 34, Triple H versus Kurt Angle, or you'll see, well, you might see that anyways, you'll see Triple H and Braun Strowman down the road. What really made me irritated was the fact that he's a CEO. I understand that. You make your first appearance since WrestleMania this year, and you decide to hog all the glory and win for Team Raw. When you had Braun Strowman, the guy that they're trying to get over. I mean, it's fine, you took 2 power slams from him. Big fucking deal, so I can't wait to see where this goes.
But, you know, just going back a little bit, okay, yes, you had Stephanie McMahon coming out and she's gloating about how Raw won, and then Triple H was the one that got the win for Team Raw, and then, yes, you had Kurt Angle come out in front Triple H and saying, you ever cross me like that again, I'll kick your ass. But then you also had Jason Jordan come out and he's like, oh, I'm 100%, how about you and I go 1-on-1 right now? And Kurt's like, no, you can't do that. You're a wrestler. I'm the general manager of Raw. You can't do that. And then you had Braun Strowman come out.
Oh, right.
And, you know, it's from the Sunday night, you know, you got Braun Strowman facing off with Triple H. Triple H is basically like, yeah, I don't want none of you. I'm just gonna get the hell out of here. And then Steph makes a match between Braun Strowman and Jason Jordan. It's like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see how it goes. I mean, understandably, nobody really cares about Triple H. You knew Kurt Angle was gonna wrestle again, and
Oh yeah.
obviously he wrestled at TLC.
Yes.
So, you know, to see him and Triple H one more match isn't that bad, to be honest with you.
Right.
But, what else happened on Raw?
So yeah, I did have Miz TV with Roman Reigns, but that kind of just ended up being a wash, so to speak. Because he had Miz come out and he's like, oh yeah, even though I lost on Sunday, I helped Baron Corbin put the United States Championship over, and it's like, yeah, okay, Miz typical heel, trying to put a spin on a negative. Supposed to be Roman Reigns coming out by himself, of course. He's with Dean and Seth, and you know, they're not gonna have Roman go out by himself, especially if shit hits the fan. You know, with Bo and Axel out there, but you know, what really could they do to Roman? And the segment was mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, there's that challenge, Roman Reigns versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title and the main event. And I was looking forward to that because you never knew what was going to happen. You never thought that. Well, I'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, get to that a little bit later. Raw was just basically kind of like a recap of Survivor Series, and there was some matches in there. It's just, why do we talk about Braun Strowman and Jason Jordan? That match, basically was
a one-way ass kicking, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's putting your pride on the line for Jason Jordan trying to impress his dad or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have Matt Hardy talking to Jason Jordan saying, hey, you know what? This Braun Strowman, he's not a man, he's a monster.
Yeah.
So obviously, he was right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically.
Yeah, like Jason Jordan's trying to get advice from Matt Hardy about, what to expect facing Braun Strowman and what am I in for?
Yeah.
What can I do to win? And Matt Hardy's just like, Braun's like no other guy I faced before, and he truly is a monster among men, and good luck. And you see the look on Jason's face, like, oh, I'm so screwed.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Also, so there was that. I'm trying to think of what else there was.
And even you got a conversation with Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle, and Jason Jordan's like, I can't wrestle, my knee's still hurt. And Kurt goes, well, you said you're 100%. Like, yeah, well, that was just ego, I guess you could say, in front of Triple H. And
yeah,
I'm still hurt. And then Kurt's like, well, I can't cancel the match. How would that look on me and you and all that stuff? And essentially, Jason Jordan's like giving himself a pep talk. I can do this. I can go into the match. I can face Braun Strowman. I can beat Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman essentially just whitewashed Jordan until Kane got involved and started waylaying Strowman with a chair, and then put the top of the chair against his throat and slammed it against the steel steps, kind of making it hard for Strowman to breathe. And you got referees and all that, like, Braun, let us help you. And of course, he's like shooing him away and, don't touch me, whatever. And then basically, Braun eventually makes it to the back, and that's all you see of that. Then of course later on you got somebody asking Kurt Angle, well, what's the condition of Braun Strowman? And Kurt's like, well, Braun refused help and I heard he left the building, but if you don't mind, I ain't gotta go check on my son. And there's Jason Jordan sitting on one of the examining tables of the Essen Gold and getting his knee checked out, and then trainer hands him a bag of ice and kind of put it alongside his knee, and they're having a conversation. Jason Jordan's like, oh, I'm sorry I let you down. It's like, Kurt's like, what are you talking about? You didn't let me down. It's Braun Strowman you're dealing with there. You did the best you could, even though you're outsized, out-muscled, and nearly and taking a pretty good beating. You still did the best you could. And so it looks like they're going to continue the rivalry with Kane and Braun. How they're going to do that, I'm not entirely sure, but just have to kind of wait it out and see.
Yeah. Make note of the fact, by the way, that I once again forgot my Macho Man shirt.
Hmm.
Bullshit. Anyways, gotta start putting out a memo.
I thought about saying that yesterday when we were talking, and then you told me you had found your Shield T-shirt,
Yes.
and it's like, oh, maybe he'll wear that, and I can wear a wrestling shirt of some kind, and
Shit, yeah. I never thought about that. That's. Well.
one
Eh,
day on an episode of this, we're gonna be both be wearing wrestling shirts, one way or another.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So, we get at the Divas, or, well, women's match. It was, your typical. Bailey, Sasha Banks, who else was there?
Well, yeah, first had Alexa Bliss come out, and she's like, I'm talking about her loss to Charlotte, and then
Oh, yeah.
it's like, oh, even though I lost to Charlotte, I'm still the Raw Women's Champion, and I've taken out pretty much everybody on Raw, and then that brought Mickey James out and talking about she wanted a women's championship match, and then it was Bailey, and then it was Sasha, and then it was Alicia Fox talking about, I was the captain of the Raw women's team, and I should be women's champion, and that essentially coerced a fatal four-way to determine a number one contender for the women's championship. Oh, was there a big surprise?
Oh, yeah. Big, huge surprise. The return of Paige.
A long-awaited and I would say much anticipated return of Paige. I had seen on social media for quite a while Paige was coming back, wasn't sure when, wasn't talking about, any big hints or
No.
rumors as to when she was coming back. It was just there was talk about her at some point coming back. And then on Monday she of course made her big return. She said, of course the fans are going absolutely apeshit.
Yeah.
And she goes, did you miss me? And of course they cheer, and it's like, yeah, okay. Sorry to interrupt the match, and I should be women's champion as well, or whatever. Who else should get involved? NXT, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose.
Which, I really enjoy Sonya Deville. I think she'll do great. It's kind of weird how it's nice to see a women's stable.
Yeah.
That sounded weird. But it's nice to see that, especially because, it's Paige coming back and whatever. She's a lot more mature. Stuff like that. She was 21 when she came in, I think.
Yeah, 21.
So it's like, she still had a lot of growing to do, obviously. There was a lot of things that she could have handled better.
Nah.
So, I guess, I don't know. Anyways, it was great to see her back.
Yeah.
And I know somebody who would like the Alexa Bliss beatdown that the three of the girls put on her.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to say Becky Lynch, but she's on SmackDown.
Right.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, having Alicia Fox run away, like she's that scared. But it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see Paige as the new women's champion at some point.
Yeah. Do you think at some point, potentially, you could have either one of them maybe beat Asuka and end this undefeated streak, or have at some point Asuka win the women's championship, have Asuka go for a bit of a run with the women's championship, and then maybe Paige or one of the other two beat her for the championship, ending this undefeated streak of hers, or would that just not make much sense?
Well, it depends on where Paige is. If she's a face, then sure, maybe that can go that way. Or if she's a heel, which is kind of wouldn't make sense either, because if she's gonna beat Alexa, Alexa's a heel, so I'm not sure how that's gonna be. If Paige wins, then let's have Paige have the title for a while, and then have Asuka versus Paige, and then have Asuka win the title.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because Asuka's new to Raw.
Oh, yeah.
She still needs to get her feet wet, if you will. Whatever the fuck that means. And so, let's have Asuka not be the champion for a while, and then maybe later on down the road, like early next year, whatever, we'll see Asuka win the women's title. Like, who knows? I mean, it'll happen sooner than later if I know the WWE.
Yeah. I don't know if it will end up happening before Christmas.
No.
But I'd say maybe within the next 2, maybe 3 months after Christmas, potentially.
That's a possibility.
I mean, there's nothing saying that actually will happen, but I mean, knowing the WWE and the way they do things, but the potential's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was that, which was quite interesting. You had Elias in the ring, and he's, gonna perform a song for Raw getting the big win at Survivor Series, and then Matt Hardy comes out, and the two of them start fighting with each other, and it's like, okay, this is a rivalry continuing, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Matt Hardy needs something to do, and I guess why not put him with Elias? But
Yeah.
the fact is, are they going to do anything with him at all? I mean, yeah, I don't know. But anyways, we got to the main event. We have The Miz versus Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental title, which, I don't know, I had my reservations about it. I mean, Roman Reigns has already been WWE champion and the tag team champion, so why not?
And United States champion.
And United States champion. Well, why not make him a Grand Slam champion? Triple crown, if you will, as it was in the old days. So, yeah, it was a good match. A really good match. And you had, of course, the Bar coming out and trying to get Roman Reigns to lose. And not sure if the Entourage made it. And the Shield came out and distracted at outside interference. And, of course, it took a while, but you get your new WWE Intercontinental Champion, Roman Reigns. And a lot of people are going to shit on that because it's Roman Reigns and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And
Some people don't like Roman Reigns, some people like Roman Reigns, blah, 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 whatever.
well, the fact is, they gave him a chance as the Intercontinental Champion, and that's fine. We'll see how far that goes.
Right.
But if it better not be as shitty as, let's say, Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
or well, probably not. Or even Zack Ryder was not long enough. But
No.
Roman Reigns being the Intercontinental Champion, is that the right move? I don't know, but I mean, he is a Triple Crown champion now, alongside Dean Ambrose, which is weird enough to say.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool just to see that. I mean, not even Hulk Hogan could say that he's a good Triple Crown champion.
No.
So, they must believe, pardon the pun, that Roman Reigns is the guy in the WWE that should be the next superhero, if you will. But
Yeah, I mean, you've got Dean Ambrose as World WWE Champion, surprisingly, Tag Team Champion, and then Intercontinental Champion. You do the same with Roman Reigns, whether you want to throw in the U.S. title in there or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Do you think at some point down the road, maybe they could end up throwing the IC title on Rollins? And that way you could have like all three of them be
Triple Crown
champions?
You know, that's a good idea. But, you know, well, this is the thing. I would have rather seen Seth Rollins take out The Miz. It would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But they went with Roman, and that's fine. I just think it would have made more sense to have Seth Rollins go for the title. You want to make Roman Reigns a big deal, and don't get me started about this fucking thing where you're protecting Lesnar for WrestleMania. I don't want to see champion versus champion at WrestleMania Part 2.
Yeah.
That's not fucking... No. That's... Yeah. Anyways, no, it's great that he's the Intercontinental Champion, but as far as how far is it gonna go, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, they might put the tag titles back on Seth and Dean at some point, possibly. And then, have the three of them be champions again. But for right now, you've got Roman as the IC champ, and kind of just down the line, see where it goes, see what happens. And
yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool to see all three of them with championships again.
No, I agree. I mean, that would be pretty cool, and they're getting back together.
Yeah.
And it seems pretty cool. I think everyone likes them. I mean, they like Roman Reigns now because he's a part of the Shield.
Shield again.
So, whatever.
And I just thought of this. When initially the Shield was together, they had Seth and Roman with the tag titles, and then had Dean Ambrose as the United States champion when the last time the three of them had championships.
Yeah, that is true.
So if you really want to go that far, you could technically both say Ambrose and Reigns are Grand Slam champions.
Well, the Clash of the Champions is coming up soon.
Oh, I know.
So, that could be a huge possibility. But only time will tell.
Yeah, that's true.
So, SmackDown was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was, actually, before we go on to SmackDown, there was a video that Kyle was showing me.
Yes.
I've seen it on Facebook, too. I don't know if it was a full match, but Arn Anderson came out and basically gave Dolph Ziggler one of the best timebusters I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well,
it was initially a match between Dolph Ziggler and the glorious one himself, Bobby Roode. What they were touting as Starrcade in Greensboro. And Greensboro is basically, you can call it like Four Horsemen country.
Yeah.
And so you had Arn on the outside, kind of as like a guest referee, guest enforcer, going back to the days of the Four Horsemen and his nickname. Anyways, what it ended up being was Dolph was on the outside, and he grabbed a steel chair, and Arn was essentially trying to stop Dolph from using the chair, and Dolph clobbers Arn, just punches him, and of course Arn goes down, and Dolph gets in the ring. He had the chair. The referee takes the chair from Dolph, and you see Arn get up, get in the ring behind Dolph, and he looks like he's ready for a spine buster, and essentially it looks like it's gonna be Dolph turn around and just take the spine buster from Arn, but Dolph and the referee are exchanging words with each other. Dolph turns around, he sees Arn standing there. They're kind of interacting back and forth with each other. Dolph charges at Arn. Arn picks him up, delivers a beautiful spine buster. And then we got Bobby Roode get the win over Dolph, and it's like, for Arn being out of the ring for as long as he's been out of the ring, and to have the issue with his arm and his hand not being able to function properly, and for him to still be able to deliver one hell of a spine buster is like, still go, he can still do it.
Yes. Yeah, so anyways, and that was cool to see that.
Yeah.
I, again, didn't really watch all of SmackDown, so I'm not sure exactly what happened in the beginning.
Well, in the beginning, it was Shane came out and we're talking about taking the loss at Survivor Series and all this other stuff, and then he brings up Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and their involvement, and he calls them out, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are still being the heels, taking shots at Shane and all this other stuff. And it essentially kind of indicates that Shane's probably gonna end up firing them both. And Daniel Bryan comes out and he's like, no, let's not fire them. Instead, let's have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the New Day and have all the SmackDown superstars around the ring in like a handicap tag team lumberjack match. So it's basically your main event.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how Shane McMahon is the one that's, I don't know if he's trying to stir the pot between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This is all basically what happened at Hell in the Cell, and it escalated to Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. But also, you got Brian, who's kind of like not on board with it, and he's giving Kevin Owens a chance.
Yeah.
To make it up or whatever. So next week, it'll be Kevin Owens versus
Randy Orton.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting, I guess. So, if Brian is cleared to wrestle, actually see a WrestleMania with Shane versus Brian. That makes a little bit of sense, at least. I don't know. That's just thoughts that come off the top of my head. But Brian is cleared to wrestle, as far as what I heard. And I was watching Ring of Honor, which we'll get to that episode, but I was watching Ring of Honor a few weeks ago when Cody Rhodes did the LaBelle lock to, I can't remember who it was, and then he was doing it. So maybe that's kind of a challenge that we could see down the road. The American Dragon versus the American Nightmare.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting. Also, I was watching Aftermath. I don't tape Aftermath in my apartment. I always wait to go to my parents, where my old PVR is, and watching Aftermath. And one thing that was pointed out, and kind of agree with, like saying, oh, well, his fail, I think it was the fail, anyways, was Shane McMahon coming out, and when he was the first general manager of SmackDown, saying that it's about the wrestlers, and now Shane's just, every chance he gets, he seems to be, like, he wrestled Undertaker, he's wrestled AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, he's putting himself in matches when, even in Survivor Series, he's putting himself in one now that he's done. and it's like, it's supposed to be about the wrestlers. Shane McMahon's not a wrestler, he's a fighter. There's a huge difference, you know, I think. But the fact of the matter is, it's about the wrestlers, and you're putting yourself on the line. What the hell's going on? Like, you've got tons of talent, and you're not using it.
I would call bullshit on that.
Okay.
I would supremely call bullshit on that. Because how many people would not want to see Shane get in the ring and compete again? Lots of people want to see that. And, you know, it's not just Shane throwing himself in matches. There has been things that have led up to
True.
the matches. The match with AJ, WrestleMania. AJ and Shane having beef with each other. The match with Taker, it was, you know, Shane coming back, you know, trying to still be in the shareholder of WWE and trying to blackmail his father, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
The match with Kevin Owens, you know, we've seen over the last couple months of the Kevin and Sammy have had to say about Shane, and you know, it's that it started out with Kevin Owens and, you know, talking about, oh, did your daddy not give you enough attention when you were a kid, and this, that, and the other thing. And as far as Shane being involved with the Survivor Series match, Shane had as much reason being in that match as Kurt Angle did.
I don't know. I mean, I can understand everything else, but that's fine. But when it comes to the Survivor Series, I could care less about having Shane, any of the McMahons involved in the Survivor Series match. You could have put somebody else in there, and the fact that you didn't, that was... The first year it happened, I thought, you know what? That's fucking bullshit. Because you have all other talent, and Shane McMahon, once again, why didn't Brian go in, though? Why didn't he go in?
I think because WWE doesn't want to be responsible
Bullshit.
if something were to happen to Brian.
I call bullshit on that. I mean, they don't...
If Daniel Bryan's been cleared to wrestle recently, or within the last month or whatever, you would think they would have him wrestle, but, you know. Where,
just like Randy Savage.
When, where, how? It hasn't happened. Why? I honestly think the WWE thinks Daniel Bryan could be a liability.
Well, I'm sorry, but...
And you know, we also talk about, okay, Shane putting himself in matches, and you know, essentially putting himself in the team for SmackDown for Survivor Series. Hello, Triple H did the same fucking thing, so...
Yeah, he did. Triple H did, but also Triple H has been a wrestler for more than 20 years at least.
Well, before Shane ever became commissioner of SmackDown, and he was kind of co-authority figure with his dad in the 90s, he wrestled.
I know he did, and he became
Big Show and Kane and several others. So, okay, yes, Shane wasn't a full-time wrestler, but Shane did wrestle.
No, you're right. Well, it's more like street fights, though, if you think about it.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, alright. I mean, he was European champion.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's that. But I don't know. There was just something that I didn't like. I still don't like about it.
Just because somebody is an authority figure doesn't mean they have to stop wrestling altogether. I mean...
No, I know.
Shane, yes, has wrestled quite frequently over the last 9 months, roughly. You still see Triple H get in the ring periodically from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, this is, like I said, this is the first time.
Oh, Vince even wrestled for a short period of time there.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean, hell, so did Stephanie for fuck's sakes.
True.
But, it's like, Nug's point of view was Shane being the commissioner of SmackDown meant that he would be an automatic for Survivor Series. Well, I don't really think that's necessarily the case.
Yeah, well, who knows, honestly. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens next year. But this was a good SmackDown, and of course, next week's gonna be Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. So that's gonna be, oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. So, like we talked about Monday, and Paige returning, and bringing out Sonya Deville and Mandy Rhodes, and that was cool. But we go to SmackDown.
SmackDown basically went, okay, you want to do that? We'll one up you.
And I don't necessarily agree with that either. It's one thing to debut somebody in each brand. I get that. You don't have to fucking copy the Raw brand. You can do your own thing. But no, they decided to go, okay, we're going to take Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, which we haven't seen in a while, and
Sarah Logan.
We're going to put them in a stable, and then we're going to have them raise havoc, just like Paige's team. Now, it's really fucking confusing, because it just fucking happened out of nowhere. At Paige, I can understand. Paige has been on NXT. She's been the women's champion multiple times, and Divas champion, whatever. And she's been there for a while. She's a veteran. She brings in 2 people from NXT, and now they're a stable. That's great. Ruby Riott hasn't even done half the shit that Paige has done. She should have went for the NXT Women's Championship. That never happened. And then right out of nowhere, here she is on SmackDown. And I could have said the same thing about the Shield when they debuted, because that happened right the fuck out of nowhere, in my opinion. The fact is, yeah, I like Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan and that other one, but the fact is, they could have waited. They could have waited another week for them to debut, but they did the same thing. They beat up wrestlers backstage. It was basically that, and then having them come out and raising hell. So again, let's see how this team is gonna do. And then, I'm not sure, but it really pisses me off when I see a copycat debut. You could have debuted anybody, and if it had to be a woman wrestler, go for it. But you didn't have to have another fucking stable. Like, how many stables are you gonna have? And it just makes no sense. And again, we'll see how this goes. Maybe one will not last as long as the other. I don't know. I really like the Paige stable. I really like where that's going. It makes more sense than seeing Ruby Riott go off and do her thing. And like I said, that one on SmackDown just came right out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't, Paige coming back was a big surprise. And she said she brought a few friends. That's how you do a debut. This just happened backstage, and that was it. And then, of course, at the end of it, you have all 3 come out and do their thing in victory, and that's great and all, but it's like, they could have did more in NXT and come debut on SmackDown instead of this whole thing. Didn't work out that way. So I can't wait to see how far they go and how long they last as a unit. I don't know.
See, the way I look at it is, okay, you got Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. Okay, Ruby's not as well versed as Paige is. And you look at the other four women that were on both sides, none of them had hold a candle to Paige. However, don't you think Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose, along with Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan, helped to shake up the women's division on both brands?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, they did. That's great. But you have to think that we just had Raw debut this faction. Why don't we wait for maybe another week and then have, or maybe have, hints as to when the next stable comes out instead of just, oh, there's Ruby Riott and she's calling Liv Morgan and everyone else to come out and attack, and there it is. There it is. So, that to me just, it's not as good as Raw. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
So then we head to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, not bad.
I think I can sense what will happen when, and that's another thing that we'll get to, I guess. I'm just trying to think what happened. Did you watch Ring of Honor this week?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying. I know Shane Taylor was in the match. I'm not sure. Again, I'm trying to think. I can only think of one really good thing, but I saw the show. I'm just trying to, what happened.
Well, you essentially had the Briscoes become heel.
Well, actually, that's what I was going to talk about. I was going to say, yeah. It's kind of weird, and it's one of those things where it really aggravates me. Have a wrestler who retires, and then it's like a psych out moment, You have, like, Ric Flair retiring from WWE, and then going off to TNA a few months later, or a year later, at least. Or having, I don't fucking know. I mean, so Bully Ray comes back, he wrestles with the Briscoes, everything is great, and then, there was a few tense moments, and then a match in Vegas, and Bubba gets knocked out by a table. Well, not knocked out, but a big concussion. He comes out, and he's soft-spoken, and he's wearing sunglasses, and he's saying he has to retire. So, this week, he came out, basically saying his goodbyes, and I am not going to leave Ring of Honor, but I'll probably be backstage helping out the boys.
Yeah.
And that's all fine and good. And then comes Jay Briscoe. And then he's trying to get Bully Ray going. And then Tommy Dreamer comes out. And he's getting in between the two and trying to get them to stop arguing and whatever. And that's when Mark Briscoe comes out. And basically they kind of argue back and forth until he turns heel and knees Dreamer in the balls, and then they knock out, or no, they do the 3D to Bully Ray. That's basically, I believe that's how that went. And so now they're heel take team again. So final battle comes up, I'm pretty sure, down the road. It could be the Briscoes versus Dreamer and Ray or whatever. It would be pretty interesting, especially if it's a hardcore match.
Mm.
But that's pretty much all I can think about what happened this week. And I know I saw. I think the Kingdom had a match.
Yeah. Was, I think it was J.K. O'Ryan and Vinny, whatever the fuck his name is, against, Vinny Marcelli, I think. And, they were against... it was, the Addiction.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
For, was it the number one spot for the tag titles? Or no, that was something else. Anyways, there was a match that happened and War Machine got involved and...
Yeah, yes. I know there was a match where Cody Rhodes sat in.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that was Adam Page and Dalton Castle.
Yes. And I think... Well, wasn't it Dalton Castle who won?
I believe so, yeah.
So, it'll be Dalton Castle versus Cody for the title. I'm not sure when. I think it might be it might be this night. I'm not sure. But it was a good show. I mean, Ring of Honor, I've tried to get tickets, but Toronto's just kind of far. Well, that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see next time I watch it, because it aired last night. So, it'll be interesting. That's pretty much it. I think Caprice Coleman had another one of his skits that he did. I'm not sure. Anyways, well, watch it again, and we'll watch this episode, see how it goes. But it was a good show. It was a good episode. And then we go on to Impact, and your Thanksgiving episode. And let me see if I can get this right. It was the Eli Drake turkey,
Eli Drake Thanksgiving turkey trot?
Yeah, a gravy boat.
Or yeah, gravy boat turkey trot.
Something like that. It was basically like a 4-on-4, except they were sitting at a table, and you got all the food there, and stuff like that. So it was, basically Eli Drake's team. It was like Laurel Vaness, who for some reason still has to have that gimmick. There was
Well, she has the same gimmick, it's just not as
in a wedding dress.
far out as it was.
Yeah. That was her. There was
Ali, there was KM, El Hijo de Fantasma, Garza Jr.,
Yes.
Eddie Edwards,
that big guy.
Falaba,
Yeah, Falaba. Yeah.
and Richard Justice.
Yes. So that was pretty cool, and then it was a food fight.
Oh, and also Chris Adonis.
Yeah. And so that was a really good team. Eddie Edwards' team won,
Yes.
and then a food fight ensued. I skipped through that part. It was,
Yeah, they're trying, it was ultimately Chris that lost the match, so they're trying to get him in the turkey outfit.
Yes.
And he's not wanting to do it, of course, and then he's like, alright, fine, I'll do it, and then, yeah.
It was really cool to see highlights of that through the years.
Yeah.
Seeing Grado versus Robbie E. Or Robbie E. versus whoever. I think it was Eric Young.
Yeah.
It's very cool to see that you know. It's a silly concept, but at the same time, it was fun to watch.
Yeah. And then, of course, they're gonna have a tournament for a new Knockouts champion after Gail Kim gave it up, winning it at Bound for Glory. And, it'll be interesting.
What was also cool is you got to see the wrestlers talk about their Thanksgiving traditions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one person that I was very happy to see, and finally, I think she's the new member of the Impact roster, is one Casey Spinelli. Very,
Potentially, yeah.
potentially very cool. Can't wait to see more of it. Hashtag 2Scoops. And, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. There's really not that much that happened except for...
No, it was just basically... Most of it was showing previous Turkey Bowl matches and then drawing the names for this Eli Drake Gravy Boat Turkey Trot thing. And then the match itself. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, there wasn't very much. There wasn't anything spectacular.
No.
So,
Oh, next week, I believe it's going to be a match with Tyson Dukes and I can't remember who's going to be facing.
oh shit. Well, that sucks. Because I just watched it really this morning. But speaking of Tyson Dukes, well, actually, this will be on Smash. So I'll bring it up on that review. But in any case, Impact was good. The Thanksgiving episode, obviously. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I could say. It was better than last year's. Definitely better than last year's Thanksgiving thing. With Ali dressed up as the Quaker.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Then we move on to Smash. Speaking of which, we'll just get that out of the way, because I want to talk about what Tyson Dukes said. And it really, really pissed me off. Because I don't know what's wrong with the fucking American border. Yes, I fucking said it. You got a guy who was a wrestler, who was supposed to be at an event, and he goes there, and he's like, well, you can't wrestle. You're taking jobs away from Americans. What the fuck does that mean? It's across the fucking border. It's not in fucking Europe or Asia. It's in fucking Canada. You got Tyson Dukes coming out and saying he's got a match in wherever, most probably Detroit. The fucking guy can't even get in.
Yeah.
So that's why he left. That's why he doesn't compete in WWE anymore. He was there for the Cruiserweight Classics, and now he can't wrestle because you fucked up in your fucking airlines. So now he's on Smash, which is great. And now he might do other shit. He was on Impact for a while. He did a match. And just goes to show you, and I've never flown before, but the fact is, that lady, that bitch that was there, that wouldn't let him pass, customs, whatever the fuck, he couldn't do what he had to do because of you, and fuck you, and I hope that you rot in hell. It makes me crazy. You're taking jobs away from Americans. Are you fucking stupid? Like, grow a fucking pair. No wonder,
Apparently, what it was is, yes, Tyson Dukes participated in the Cruiserweight Classic. He didn't advance. He, I guess, went home or whatever, and
yeah.
WWE was wanting him to do more stuff with them, whether it being on NXT or whatever. And so he was trying to get to a show, and the visa he had, apparently, wasn't a work visa, and he couldn't get paid, and this, that, and the other thing, and the whole thing with taking jobs from Americans is bullshit. And he's just kind of going back and forth with this woman for like an hour or whatever, and he's just kind of thinking like, the fuck? What the hell's going on? And then, so he's thinking, oh, maybe if I just get another flight, I can still make it, yada yada yada. Then he gets a message from WWE, and why didn't you show up for the show? And he explains it, what's going on, and WWE's like, well, we gotta fix this, we gotta make sure this doesn't happen again, whatever. And so a little while later, there was a charity event put on by Rhino.
Yeah, this is good, yeah.
And so Tyson goes to the airport, and he goes there to check air desk or whatever, and again he gets rejected. And it's like, well, it's a charity event. I've done it with Rhino before. Why can't I do it now? It's not wrestling or anything. It's whatever the heck it is. And so they basically shut him down again, and he's gotta go home and rent a car and drive from like Toronto, I think it was, or whatever, back to London or wherever it was. And, yeah. So that whole thing was stupid.
Yep. And they're power trip motherfucker. And of course it's gonna happen in the States.
But I thought of this. Okay, Tyson Dukes is basically not allowed to cross the border, visa, and whatever. But with Impact, I guess, moving probably permanently to Canada, that'll open up the window for Tyson Dukes to, still do shows for Smash, but also, Matt said he was at Bound for Glory. He did a match, and he's going to do a match next week for Impact. So with them resignating from Canada, it opens up the opportunity for Tyson Dukes to venture outside of Smash, but still be in Canada. I'm not sure about this, but I think Impact might be fully based in Ottawa now, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they had their Bound for Glory in Ottawa, and then afterwards they had it at the same place. And it's like, so Canada is, I guess, now the full-time home for Impact. So, even though Tyson wasn't able to, fly to wherever and do show, work with WWE still and do shows for WWE and whatever, at least there's a silver lining in this dark cloud, being that at least now Tyson has another option another company to wrestle with outside of Smash.
That is true. Yeah, I never thought about that, but it's still...
I know it's still a piss off and absolutely stupid, but...
Yeah, but...
It is what it is.
Smash was good. I mean, I really enjoyed the main event.
Yeah.
It's Frankie... What's his name?
Dark King or whatever, Frankie the Mobster.
Oh, yeah.
Against...
Kevin Bennett.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
That was good.
Yeah. That was very cool.
Yeah.
And also, in the beginning of the show, you had... I just saw this morning, too, so...
Oh, we had Trent Banks against Stu Grayson, and it was Eddie Edwards.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Edwards, Trent Banks, and Stu Grayson.
Yeah.
In a three-way.
But that was cool to see.
That was a good match. I think it was Banks that won.
Yeah. So it was a very cool match. Again, it's a very cool show. And it's coming to Peterborough next month.
Yep.
On the 10th. Can't wait. Killer Kyle and I will go. Hopefully I can get some footage for
Yeah.
Wheels of Fury special. Who knows? Who knows?
Or even if we can't do a on the scene episode of Wheels of Fury, I'm sure we can get pictures.
For sure, yeah. Well, who knows? I don't think it'll be copyrighted.
Probably
I
not.
don't know. So that was Smash. But then we go to 205. Again, it's Thanksgiving themed. Got Enzo Amore and his entourage. Well, yeah, Drew Gulag, which he tried to make it funny. That was okay, I guess.
Yeah,
The Gobbly Gulacker.
yeah. Dressed in the turkey outfit, the gobbledygooker outfit. And then
Tony Nese.
Tony Nese and Davari
Davari.
and
Noam Dar.
Yeah.
You know. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna kick some ass. You know, you had Cedric and Swan and the other guy. Well, they came out anyways. They interrupted it for a little bit, then they left.
Yeah.
So, it was Pakistani guy.
And Gulak against Tozawa
Oh,
in
okay.
a street fight.
Right. How can I miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Of course, the end of it, it's Tozawa putting Gulak through a table with that backdrop senton head off the top rope.
Yes.
But the really funny thing about it was afterwards, I guess you could say, his punishment for losing the match was putting on this turkey costume again and sitting in the corner, and you see him take off the head and he's like, "Can I come out of timeout now?" And Angel's like, "No, you stay there and you think about what you did and all this other stuff."
I didn't go to the restroom before.
Yeah, then Gulak goes, "I forgot to go to the bathroom before I put the turkey suit on."
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then you had Tony Nese against
Mustafa Ali, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That match went pretty good.
Yeah, again, we've seen it before. So it was really nothing special, but it was good.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But, new debut coming up soon. Hideo Itami is now headed for
205 Live.
which, okay, that makes, I guess you had enough of NXT.
I guess, yeah.
Well, you know what, that's fine. I like to see him kick up Gonzo's ass, eventually. Yeah, so,
It was interesting because you had the match, or the rivalry start up between Hideo and Cassius, and then that was a one and done deal, and it's like, okay, what's and Tommy gonna do next? And you hadn't seen him on NXT for a number of weeks, and then all of a sudden here's this pop-up vignette thing of, oh, we're gonna have the debut of Hideo and Tommy on 205. Like, okay, well, it all makes sense now.
it'll be interesting to see that. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I mean, SmackDown could have used that.
true.
But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, you've already got Akira Tozawa,
Nah.
so who knows? It'll be interesting to see how far they get, kinda, and how if he can, more competition basically.
Yeah,
Because it's funny, you have these guys wrestle bigger guys, like Hideo Itami was going after Cassius Ohno and all these bigger wrestlers, and it just didn't really make too much sense. So it's pretty cool to see him go to 205. Well, just like Enzo, anyways.
yeah.
I don't know if Cass was ever going to come back, but you know what? It's pretty interesting to see how it goes. Especially at the end of the night when all three of the heels were doing the crazy chicken dance with Enzo.
Yeah.
So that was a good show.
It's like, as if Enzo doesn't look ridiculous enough doing that dance. The hell with the other four knuckleheads doing it too. It's like, boy, you guys' career is not going very far at this rate.
No. One thing I pondered though was every show has a tag team division, a tag team championship belt. You've got the Raw titles, you got SmackDown titles, the NXT titles. Do you not think, and it's understandably why this isn't happening, but have cruiserweight tag team titles?
I think that 205 Live is solely based on the Cruiserweight division and the Cruiserweight title. So if you add a Cruiserweight tag team titles, it might take away from the Cruiserweight title itself.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's a pretty good idea. But
I mean, it just have to look at. Okay, first of all, the size of the division itself.
Yeah.
But not only that, you'd have to be like, okay, these guys can work with the tag team titles, and these guys can work with the Cruiserweight Championship. Essentially, kind of like dividing the division between two championships.
Sure.
Whereas you have just the one championship and the division as a whole, you got, various different opportunities for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, of course, with the way things are going right now with Enzo and the Cruiserweight Championship and the Zoe Train and all this other stuff, it's kind of like giving the Cruiserweight Championship a bit of a break.
Sure.
Because, you within the first 2-3 months of the division being implicated and the championship being introduced, you had 4 different champions within those 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it went to Tozawa,
Yeah.
and then it went to Enzo, and it was with Enzo for a little bit, and then it went to Kalisto, and then it went back to Enzo. But seems like with Enzo holding on to the championship, it's not necessarily keeping the championship in limbo. It's more of, I guess you can say, displaying the championship and have it solely be on one person for a little while before you maybe move it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, when they had Kalisto with it, it's like, okay, we've had Enzo with it for a little while, we've got Kalisto with it now, so let's see, what he can do with it, and, defending it and all this other stuff, but then a week, 2 weeks later, fucking Enzo takes it back, and it's like, okay, we're back to this again, but it seems to have worked out so far.
And that's what I kind of thought about The Miz. As much as I could shit talk The Miz, I think that he did carry the Intercontinental title very well. Just think that it was a bit too long,
Yeah.
and they didn't really have anybody worthy, if you want to put it that way, to carry it. So now that Roman Reigns is the Intercontinental Champion, well, you know what? We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So who knows? But 205 is a good show. Let's very quickly do NXT. It was a good show too.
Yeah. more or less, NXT was just basically an overview
Yeah.
of what happened at War Games. Now, you did have a match with Ruby Riott and Sonya Deville.
That was good. No, what I kind of thought was interesting though is that I know they were in Houston, but could you not take one of the rings away and maybe not have the War Games sign out?
Yeah, I know. When I was watching it, I was thinking, okay, how long was it after they shot War Games did they shoot that episode of NXT? Was it like later that night? Was it like the morning before?
Yeah.
Survivor Series, was it the Monday or the Tuesday at some point? Because, I mean, like, yeah, they still had the two rings set up. They still had the overall look of TakeOver, and at one point they show upward. They still have the fucking cage above the rings.
Oh, I didn't see that. Well, yeah, like, I'm looking forward to seeing Cien come out with the title.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that I can't wait to see. Also, hearing from Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun just to see that. And then, next week should be interesting.
Well, also on NXT, not only did you have Ruby Riott and Sonya Deville, you also had Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano.
Yes. And that was, I thought about that too. It's like, why put the UK title on the line? I mean, then that's why I kind of fret having that, because it's like, I understand. See, when you win the European title, it could go on anybody, but when it's the United Kingdom Championship, don't you think maybe, or are you going to treat like the US title? Not sure. So, I'm glad I went to Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
You know what? That was the match of the night, I think. Pete Dunne is a hell of a wrestler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And more good things will come from him. It'll be
I'm sure of it.
very cool to see that. Of course, Johnny Wrestling, always doing good too.
Yeah. I think, too, it's... Yes, you have the title defended against somebody that's not from the UK. However, it's a way to continue to display these guys.
Right.
And give them a platform to work on. Because it's been a year, call it,
Yes.
since the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, and these guys have had very little exposure. Okay, yes, they've done some NXT. Yes, they've done, I think, a few 205s. Maybe a pay-per-view here and there. Other than that, it's just been neutralized.
Sure.
And I mean, you're gonna have somebody with a long reign as champion when you're not defending it. Currently, I mean, Tyler Bate held the title for damn near a year because he didn't defend it all the while he held it. And then you have him drop the title to Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne has only defended the title
Yeah.
twice, I'll call it, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
So, WWE has got to get on the ball, and hopefully sometime within the next year, give these guys a bigger platform to work on, whether it be more advertisement on NXT, maybe go back and forth between at 205 Live maybe and NXT, or even give them their own show and call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, but give these guys more of a platform to work with. I mean, you've seen some of the guys and the audience for TakeOver. You had Trent Severn, you had Tyler Bate, you had Wolfgang, and I think you also had
Oh, yeah.
Andrews. Mason Andrews, if you will, in the audience. Okay, that's great. You're making mention of them, but there hasn't been much for them to do wrestling wise.
Right.
Other than maybe the odd appearance on NXT. Or throw them on an episode of 205 Live, maybe. It's just been. Okay, we have a championship, we have a division, but we're only going to use them so much.
Yeah. I could see where they were trying to go with that, but it just doesn't make sense. It's like in another 20 years, let's have a German championship, state law promotion or whatever. Anyways, this has been a good episode, and that's actually a really good topic for at the end of the year episode of Wheels of Fury. So, anyways, for me, Matt, and this Killer Kyle, and this has been fun. We'll talk to you soon.